So I was sitting back today and something inspired me to sort of look at it differently. And that is what you went through with the narcissist, but also what we go through in all sorts of situations in life. And the way we respond to it and the way we go about trying to heal from it. And it occurred to me that in order to heal, you must sit in the pain. In order to heal from anything, the answer is not to race off to do other things and to distract yourself, to ignore it. That's not the path to healing. That's not the path to getting your mind right in any way, shape, or form about anything. Placebos, bandages, quick fixes, distractions, those are not the things that bring healing. Those aren't the things that bring growth in your life either. So when you sit back and you think about the narcissist and the unparalleled pain and anxiety and disruption and chaos that they brought into your life, how your view of yourself changed. You no longer felt the same way about yourself, and you lament the mistakes, your folly. How did you ignore the red flags? How did you not spot this sooner? How did you not get out sooner? You look at times when this person wrecked relationships with friends, children that you have. They distracted you from your purpose, your goals, everything you could have and should have probably been accomplishing during that time. How they separated you from God in a variety of ways, because that's what they do. So, the narcissist. But also, you think about in your own life other ways, missed opportunities. Maybe you feel like you had an opportunity with a really stellar person and you just didn't handle it the right way, or you weren't in the right place. And somehow or another, even if it didn't end poorly, it just ended. You feel like you blew an opportunity. Or maybe you're caught up on things and times when people have wronged you. People that are close to you that you don't expect, that you can confide in, that you can't. You found out that way. Someone close to you wronged you in a very, very serious way and cut you deeply. Whatever it is, when you lose battles, we all have battles in this lifetime that we fight. Hills we choose to die on, so to speak. Things that we choose and deem to mean a lot to us. That we're going to go all in on and we're really going to pursue and we're really going to see to the end. And when those things blow up in your face or they don't turn out the way that you want them to, it leaves you in such a deep, dark place. All of these situations can do that. Basically, I'm saying when it's really hard, when life is really hard for a day, a week, a month, a season, it's loneliness, maybe. It's the hurt and pain you feel. When it's really hard, the answer is to sit in the pain. There's a saying that the cure for the pain is the pain itself. And you can sit and dissect any saying and quibble over the details and the way it plays out, but I think that the point of the saying is true, which is that only by sitting in it and allowing that pain to run its course, to fully do everything that it's supposed to do, you feel that pain and that hurt for a reason. And the only way to get past that pain is to go deep into the pit. with it and to sit in it. You see, we don't like discomfort. We don't like pain. We don't like discomfort. We don't like to have to endure those things. We want to feel better. We want to feel good, and we want to feel good now. But you see, it's in those moments, those things that are ripping you apart internally, that are gnawing at your mind, those are the things that cause you ultimately to grow and to change if you do it the right way for the better. The deepest growth takes place in those moments and periods and seasons of pain, loneliness, discomfort, whatever it is that we always want to run away from. And this is a deep teaching because we don't want this. We want instant gratification oftentimes. We want to see the person or people that have wronged us to immediately get theirs. We all fight this. And we see oftentimes the wicked prosper and the righteous suffer. And it's not easy. Things seep into our minds and they get the better of us, but the pain is what causes this. But when you get to a place that's hard to get to, and admittedly, you're not there all the time, every day, it's not like that. And when the pain comes, you have to sit in it again. When it reappears, you sit in it again. You don't ignore it. You sit in it as many times as you have to, and as long as you have to. But when you get to a place where you at least acknowledge that, you're in the place that Paul talked about in Romans and elsewhere in Scripture. Paul says in Romans 5:3-4, he says, "We rejoice in our sufferings, knowing that our suffering produces endurance, and endurance produces character, and character produces hope." Did you hear that? We rejoice in our sufferings because our sufferings produce endurance in this life and in the world to come. And then that endurance produces character development, growth. And then that character development and growth produces hope, which can be the greatest of things. You see, and he's right. And you don't get to this place by zooming through the pain and doing everything you can to cover it up and to eliminate it as quickly as you can. For those of you still dealing with the narcissist and the aftermath to me is worse than the narcissist. Getting over the spell and the trauma bond is worse than being with them. But it's not exclusive to the narcissist. It's whatever it is you're going through. It's only in sitting in that you actually grow as a person and develop, and you heal and you fortify yourself, and you know what to do the next time. And you're that much stronger and you're that much more resilient, but you don't get that way by breezing through it and trying to cover it over, to throw dirt on it, to ignore it, to brush it aside. And see, people who don't heal and don't grow and don't change and are stuck and stagnant, like the narcissist, that is the definition of what they are. There is no growth ever. That's why they're perpetual children. That's why you can meet them in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and onward, and they're like little kids in their mentality in a lot of ways. And you know what I'm saying? In certain ways, they're like perpetual children because they never grew up. They never dealt with and addressed anything that occurred in their lives. And lots of people were like this. When the pain comes, the grief, the sin, it's all about distraction. How can we get over this as quickly as we can? What can we do? Can we get on our phones? Can we hop on social media? Can we hop on a dating site? Can we text a bunch of people? Can I go out and meet someone else? This relationship blew up in my face. It didn't work out how I wanted. Or maybe you were the one who blew it up. And the answer for many people is to go right on to the nearest, next, closest, best thing. And that is 150,000% the wrong thing to do always. Because you didn't deal with the core issues, you didn't address anything, and that pain doesn't go away because you go on to someone else or some other situation in your life. It doesn't go away, it doesn't disappear. People who never grow and never develop and never improve are always going the other direction. They're not growing, they're devolving in a sense because they don't address those traumatic experiences, the things they go through. They don't sit in the pain, they refuse to do it. They must go on to other things. And our society has cultivated and catered to all of this. Because when things get tough, you can just get going to the next thing. It's right there at your fingertips. The next person to date is right there at your fingertips. The next person to text, talk to, you don't ever have to address your problems or do the deep work that it takes. You don't have to sit in the pain. And the pain is where the growth comes, and the pain is where the healing comes. It has to run its course. And people who don't develop don't understand this, and they never will. Endless distractions from the times we blow relationships up. This is why the narcissist doesn't change. If you want to understand at the core level why that person that you dealt with did not change and has not and will not change, I'm telling you right now why it is. They won't sit in the pain and the discomfort. They will block out all trauma, all traumatic experiences, everything they endured. They will not address it. They will not let that pain run its course in their lives. They don't sit to contemplate the people they destroy, the wonderful things they had in front of them that they blew up because they have to. It's their nature to do so. And they'll do it again and again and again and again because they never sat in the pain from childhood, from early adult years, from everything that occurred to them. They didn't address the problem. And when you don't address the problem, there can be no growth. And think about how far away this is from Paul's words. We rejoice in our sufferings. Not just we deal with it, not just we run away from it. We actually come to embrace it and understand that that pain and those trials and tribulations is our source of growth and character development and hope. And that there's something so therapeutic about sitting in that discomfort, even though you don't want to. So I want to urge all of you guys who are hurting, who for any reason, as I do myself as well, at various times, not to run away from it, not to think of what you can do to cover over it, or to skip ahead, to take a warp to some place in the future where the pain doesn't exist, because it's not ever going to work. You have to sit in it as long as you need to and as many times as you need to. And that's why don't ever feel bad about how long it's taking you to get through it, because you have to go through it as long as it takes. It's going to be different for everyone and depending on the situation they're dealing with. But understand that there is a therapeutic nature of sitting in that, and that is where God grows you and stretches you. And we don't like it. We don't want to hear that, but that is the truth. Because every major trial and tribulation I have gone through in my life, God made for good. And God took me to a place that I wasn't at before that. Every single time, as wicked and hard and painful as it was, if I sat in it and I endured it, all these little pearls emerged that you never saw. It's like when people are panning for gold or gems, and there's all this dirt and clay and mud or whatever else, depending on the substrate. And as they sit and they do it and they do it and they pan back and forth, those little shimmery pieces start to emerge of gold, fine gems. And had they not sat there and gone back and forth and dug deep in that soil or that river and through the rocks and through all the debris, they never ever would have found those precious gems at the bottom. And that is what it is to sit in the pain. God pulls all of these things up as you sit and you go through it and you just let it run its course. All those little pearls and magnificent things appear that never would have been there had you just gone on to the next place. So don't look for an easy way out. Don't look for an escape. Don't look to go on to the next person and the next person and the next thing and distract yourself and suppress it. Whatever it is that's plaguing you or you're enduring at the moment, sit in it as long as you need to, because that's where the true healing and the true growth is going to take place. And understand that what separates you and me and all of us who choose to sit in the pain and to deal with it head on, we will go to places that the others can't, and they never will. This is narrow path living. Trials and tribulations are sure to come, but take heart, I have overcome the world. Remember? So I want to encourage you today to go back and also watch this anytime in the future that you need to. When you're going through something really hard, and it's just maybe there's not even a particular reason, it's just hard. You're just not in a good place. Understand that, embrace it, sit in it, pan through it, and allow all the gems to emerge that never would have been there. And I promise you, if you actually take that time, you will get to a greater place. And don't rush it. Don't rush it. So, guys, I hope this message resonates with somebody today. Drop comments below. As we enter a new year, maybe try to adopt this mentality and just see what all happens. Rejoice in your sufferings. Watch it produce endurance. Watch it produce character. Watch it produce hope. And sit in it as long as you need to. So I hope this is a useful message for you guys. Very out of the ordinary for me, but I felt like it needs to be said. So, guys, God bless. Drop comments below, and I will come at you with another one very soon. Until then, God bless.